Watching productivity videos can replace the work itself, and most people don't notice it happening. It feels like progress, but nothing actually moves forward. So why does learning about productivity feel like productivity? In this video, we'll break down why this happens, and the 3 simple rules that stop productivity content from turning into procrastination. So here's the rule, the action before next rule. You cannot watch another productivity video until you complete one real task. This corrects a very common assumption. Most people think productivity improves by learning more strategies, more systems, more frameworks. But something important gets missed. Learning doesn't create progress. Execution does. Real progress follows a different sequence: action, feedback, improvement. Not this: learning, learning, learning. There's also a psychological reason this happens. Your brain rewards signals of progress, even when the progress isn't real. Watching productivity advice feels useful because it avoids the hardest part of work: starting. Research on workplace motivation found something interesting. The strongest driver of motivation at work is making progress in meaningful tasks. Even small steps forward increase engagement and momentum, which means productivity improves when real work actually moves forward. Imagine you sit down to write a project report. Instead of starting, you feel the urge to watch another productivity video, maybe something about focus or time management. The action before next rule changes that moment. Before watching another video, move the work forward. Write one section. Draft a paragraph. Do one real piece of the task. Only then can you watch something else. Most of the time, something interesting happens. Once the work begins, the urge to watch disappears, because momentum has already taken over. Productivity advice should support the work, not replace it. What task are you avoiding starting right now? If you enjoy breaking down productivity myths like this, consider subscribing. But starting the work is only the first challenge. The next trap appears when you hit the first obstacle. You begin the task, then you get stuck. You're not sure how to structure the report, or organize the presentation, or analyze the data. And that's usually when people leave the work again, to search for more productivity advice. But here's the mistake. Most people try to learn productivity before the real problem is clear. They search for general advice: how to focus, how to plan, how to be productive. But the brain doesn't learn very well this way, because there's no concrete problem to solve yet. So the ideas feel interesting, but rarely change how you work. This is where the second rule becomes useful: just-in-time learning. Only look for productivity advice when a real obstacle appears in the work. Learning science shows something interesting. Information sticks far better when it helps solve an active problem. When you're already trying to solve something, your brain pays far closer attention, because now the information actually matters. Imagine you're preparing a strategy presentation. You begin outlining the slides. Halfway through, something feels off. The argument isn't clear. Now you search how to structure a persuasive presentation. And suddenly, that advice becomes useful, because it solves the exact problem in front of you. That's the shift. Don't learn productivity before the work. Let the work reveal the problem first. Start the task. Hit the obstacle. Search for the solution. Then keep going. Because the most useful productivity advice is the advice that solves a problem you already have. But there's one more trap. Even when the advice is useful, most people still never apply it. They watch the video. They like the idea. They tell themselves they'll try it later. But later rarely comes. So the idea becomes another piece of productivity knowledge that never changes how they actually work. This is where the third rule becomes useful: the 24-hour implementation rule. If you learn a productivity idea, apply it within 24 hours. Otherwise, ignore it. This fixes another common assumption. People think productivity improves by collecting more strategies, more methods, more systems. But knowledge alone rarely changes behavior. Improvement happens when ideas turn into action. Learning something is only the first step. Testing it in real work is where the value appears. There's also a psychological reason this matters. The brain forgets unused information quickly. When an idea sits unused, the brain treats it as low priority. And within a few days, most of it disappears. But when you apply an idea immediately, two things happen. You reinforce the memory, and you discover whether the idea actually works. Research on behavior change shows something interesting. People are far more likely to follow through when ideas turn into concrete actions quickly, because action creates commitment. Imagine you watch a video about deep work, 2 hours of uninterrupted focus. The idea sounds great, but if nothing changes in your schedule, the idea stays theoretical. The 24-hour implementation rule changes that moment. Instead of saving the idea for later, you schedule a 2-hour focus block tomorrow morning. Now the idea enters your real workflow. You try it, you adjust it, you learn from it. That's the shift. Don't store productivity ideas. Test them, apply them quickly, or let them go. Because productivity ideas only matter after they appear in your work. Of course, real work rarely happens in perfect conditions. Your day fills up with meetings, messages, unexpected requests. Sometimes you don't control your schedule at all. And that's exactly why this matters. Because productivity isn't decided in perfect days. It's decided in small moments, small decisions. The moment before you watch another video. The moment you hit a problem. The moment you decide whether to try an idea or just collect it. You don't need complete control of your schedule. You just need to protect the moments where real work can move forward. Because productivity isn't about managing every hour. It's about making sure the work actually happens. At the beginning of this video, it seemed like watching productivity advice should make you more productive. And sometimes it does. But only when the advice leads back to the work. Because productivity content isn't the problem. Replacing the work with learning is. The real shift is simple. Learn when the work demands it. Apply what you learn quickly. Then return to the work. Because productivity isn't about consuming better advice. It's about making sure learning never replaces doing the work. If you want more productivity myths explained like this, consider subscribing.